I was at a family gathering when my mom asked, "Are you excited to turn 23?" My entire body tensed up. You see, every generation in my family, someone dies on their 23rd birthday. First it was my great-grandfather, then my grandmother's sister, then my mom's cousin. I'm not superstitious, but no one had a good explanation for it. Fast forward 3 months later, and I was walking to work when a car jumped the curb right where I'd been standing seconds before. That night at 2 a.m., I couldn't sleep and Googled my family history and found 7 deaths that all happened at age 23. I went to visit my great-aunt Helen, the only one still alive who remembered the older ones. But the second I mentioned the deaths, her face froze. "Why are you digging into this?" she asked, not looking at me. I told her my birthday was coming up and she finally turned around, her face pale. "They all died between 3 and 4 in the afternoon," she whispered. "We stopped having birthday parties because of it." She wouldn't say anything else. And when the day finally came, I told everyone I wanted to be alone and deadbolted the door. The morning of my 23rd birthday, I sat on my couch watching the clock. 10 a.m. passed, then noon. At 2:30, I was actually starting to relax, thinking maybe I was being ridiculous. At 2:47, someone knocked on my door. I figured it was UPS with a package, so I looked through the peephole. "Who is it?" I called through the door. "I'm looking for Carolyn," he said, and his voice was flat, emotionless. "Wrong apartment," I said. "There's no Carolyn here." I started to move away from the door, but he knocked again, harder. "Please, I know she's in there. I need to speak with Carolyn." My hands were sweating as I put the chain on and opened the door just a crack. The moment he saw me, his jaw dropped. "Your eyes," he said, stepping closer. "You have Carolyn's eyes." His right hand was in his coat pocket, and I could see the outline through the fabric. "You're going to tell me where Carolyn is," he said, and I slammed the door so hard the walls shook. Boom, boom, boom. He started slamming his fists against the door. "I know you're in there. I can wait. You have to come out eventually." I called 911, barely able to hold my phone steady, and told them someone was trying to break in. Another slam, and the chain lock ripped partially out of the frame, screws clattering to the floor. The pounding continued as I talked to the dispatcher, but the second we both heard sirens approaching, it stopped. Complete silence. The cops found nothing. No fingerprints on the door, and none of my neighbors saw anyone in the hallway. They looked at me like I was having a breakdown. I spent the rest of my birthday in that barricaded apartment, jumping at every sound, but nothing else happened. I survived. Up until the day of my sister's 23rd birthday, I actually thought I'd broken whatever sick pattern this was. I stopped taking medication after that, thinking it was why I'd been so paranoid over nothing. When me and my sister were planning her birthday party, I told her about my experience and we laughed about how crazy I'd been. I was in a meeting when my mom called. I finally stepped out to answer and she was sobbing so hard I couldn't understand her. "Mom, can you hear me? Your sister, she collapsed at work." Turns out she had a brain aneurysm. They pronounced her dead at 3:23 p.m. on her 23rd birthday. At the funeral, none of my relatives would look me in the eye. My aunt pulled me aside and said my sister had mentioned getting weird emails the week before, someone asking about someone named Carolyn, but she'd thought it was spam and deleted them. I instantly knew that it was supposed to be me. Fast forward a year later to her 24th birthday. I was alone at the cemetery at 3:23 p.m. when I heard footsteps behind me. "You're the one who survived," the woman said. She knew about the man at my door, knew about Carolyn, knew everything. And when she finally explained what was going on, everything clicked. Full story on channel, link below.